Austin, am I audible? Yeah. Siddharth, am I audible?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, Siddharth. What was the points we discussed in SN2 reaction?
Ma'am, the inversion of configuration, first of all.
Yeah.
Like
So
after
that is the first thing in SN2. That is the last thing in SN2. What is SN2?
oh, ma'am, I'm not sure I understood. What was the question?
Now, what you understood from SN1 and SN2? Anybody else? What is SN1, SN2 reaction?
And we replace a halogen with a nucleophile.
When the nucleophile is attacked from the opposite side of the lead group or parent group, and in between there will be a transition state where it will form a carbon, but it won't actually exist, and then it forms then the nucleophile is.
Yeah. So SN2 reaction, so it's a nucleophilic substitution happening for haloalkenes, and you're substituting a halogen with a nucleophile. So here this mechanism can be of two different way, SN2 and SN1. In SN2 mechanism, it is bimolecular. The reason is because two reagents are equally present in the rate determining step. That is what it's a bimolecular reaction. Both the molecule and the reagent, both the substrate and the reagent is taking part simultaneously. The thing is that the nucleophile is attacking from the real side of the compound, the leaving group. Whichever is the leaving group, the incoming group is attacking from the opposite of the real side. As a result, you are getting an intermediate compound, which is finally give you the product. So this is what happening in SN2 reaction.
Only applicable for halides?
Because we are learning about haloalkenes. It's only a reaction of haloalkenes. Just give me a minute, okay?
Oh.
Jatin, your taskbar right step. Taskbar right step. Then what do you use to
guys using that
okay.
Yeah.
No, but then every time we see the taskbar, you can keep.
Okay, sorry. So here, as the attack is happening from the rear side of the leaving group, there is inversion of configuration is happening. So these were the important points we discussed in SN2 reaction. Yeah. Any doubt here? Because all are keeping silent. I don't know whether we need to have a next exam schedule for you to start studying. Yeah. Then only you will start studying.
No, it's fine.
Okay. Anyway, let's. Second mechanism is SN1 mechanism. It is a unimolecular reaction because in a reaction in a your rate determining step, there is only single molecule taking part. That is why it's a unimolecular reaction. Yeah. So SN2 we discussed the mechanism. This was SN2 what we discussed, right? And we discussed all these points one by one. Inversion of configuration. And we discuss why primary, secondary and tertiary, if you have three different compound, primary will be easily undergoing SN2 because of the less bulkier groups, that is less steric hindrance. Done?
One molecule determine the rate.
Yeah, that is only one molecule taking part in the rate determining step, then it will be SN1. If two molecules are present in rate determining step, then it is SN2, bimolecular and unimolecular. That you can easily understand when you learn SN1 also, then you can compare and study. Okay. So SN1 reaction is actually a two-step. Here in SN2, both the reagent were simultaneously reacting together to give you an intermediate which is giving you the product. So it's actually a conversion both of the reagent was acting together. But in SN1 reaction, it is actually a two-step reaction. And you can see evidently both the steps like this. First step is your carbon halogen bond will break down, forming a carbocation and a leaving group. So example, you can see over here, L is like, you can take it, write it as X also because that's what generally we used to write for halogen. So carbon halogen bond will be breaking down, forming a carbocation and a halide ion. So that is the first step, bond breaking. And in the second step, the nucleophile will attack the carbocation. It's normal substitution, but it happens like in two steps. It's not like a group is attacking, then the leaving group is going. Here, first the bond is breaking so that the new nucleophile comes and attach the carbon. So if you look in the reaction, it may look like this. Say, if you take actual example CH3 Cl. So first this bond will break, forming CH3 plus, that is carbocation, and Cl minus. Okay. Then say example your nucleophile is a bromide, then bromide will form CH3Br. So it's actually happening in two steps.
What will cause the bond to break in the first place?
Because the unstability or polarity in the bond, the halogen and the carbon, we know that's a polar bond. So carbon is already having a slight positive and halogen is slight negative. And in an instant, that negative electron is completely transferred to the halogen, so that bond will break completely as carbon positive and negative. That is under the influence of nucleophile. If a compound is taken alone, then this bond breaking won't happen. But under the influence of the nucleophile, when you're adding a nucleophile, in that environment with the same conditions of temperature and pressure, then this bond breaking will happen.
The first step is
Bond breaking.
no both directions.
Huh?
So first step is written like in both directions.
Yeah, it just that bond is completely broken and you're getting a carbocation and halide. There is no direction is required because that entire bond is broken. In the second step, you can have that problem. That next slide it is coming. In the next slide, we'll explain how it is affecting the direction. Okay.
Is there a possibility that the carbocation will bond with the leaving group once again?
No.
No.
I said that's why I said in organic, the conditions are important rather than the reagent. So in that condition, maybe a particular bond will be favored. Maybe if you change the condition, maybe backward reaction will happen. So here the slowest rate determining step is the step 1. In step 1, you have only the substrate, that is your organic compound, is taking part. There is no role for nucleophile. That is why it's a SN1 mechanism, unimolecular. So the meaning unimolecular because in the rate determining step, only one molecule is taking part. In the previous example, when we discussed SN2, you can see that nucleophile and your substrate both were together in the slower step. So two molecules are taking part in a reaction, means it's a bimolecular reaction. Actually in kinetics, the chapter 4 kinetics, you are learning unimolecular and bimolecular reaction. So at that time you will understand. So unimolecular, bimolecular meaning is number of molecule taking part in a rate determining step. So SN1 is substitution, nucleophilic, unimolecular. So here only one molecule, this is the slowest step. Rate determining step is the step 1. Rate determining step. In that rate determining step, only one molecule is taking part. That is the breakage of carbon-halogen bond. That is happening in step 1. So only one molecule is taking part. So it's a unimolecular reaction. If you compare it with the previous one, in SN2, if you see, yeah, just a minute. In SN2, you can see it is like both bromide and your compound is together. So it's 1 and 2. So these two are reacting together, that the nucleophile is attacking from the rear side of the leaving group. So two molecules are present in that step. That is why it's a bimolecular reaction. And in SN1, it is unimolecular. Is that clear? If not, please ask, because it's very, very important in this chapter. SN1 and SN2 is very important and short question will be there related to this concept.
Ma'am, for SN2, both the reactions, both the, there are two products, right? So are both of them considered as one step?
Actually, it's considered as a one step because it is forming only an intermediate, because which is not an actual product. An intermediate state, it's not a product, it's an intermediate state where the nucleophile incoming group and the leaving group is simultaneously present, and immediately you are getting a product. So actually it happens in a single step. Single step, or you can say it's like a transition state, it's like a transformation reaction. Rearrangement in the molecule. So that happens usually in organic. You won't find that kind of reaction in inorganics. So you can see in SN2, it's basically both the reagent taking part in the first step itself, giving you an intermediate product or a transition state, which is converted to the final product. That means that's not a reaction. It is just a rearrangement or the breakage of the bond. But here it's actually clearly two different steps only. In the first step, there is a bond forming breakage, forming carbocation. And in the second step, you are getting a nucleophile added to the carbocation forming a new product. So in step 1 and step 2, step 1 is the slowest step, which is a rate determining step. So slowest rate determining step has only one reagent or one reactant. That is why the mechanism is unimolecular. Clear? Right. So if you look into the stereo aspects of this SN1 mechanism, you can see that first step is bond breaking. That means your halogen carbon bond will break. So what will be forming? A carbocation. So in that carbocation, in the second step, nucleophile should come and attack, right? This nucleophile has got two options now. It can either come through this side or to the same side of the leaving group, right? Because first step is bond breaking, your halogen is removed, forming a carbocation. So this is the product after the first step. To this carbocation, nucleophile should attack, but this nucleophile can approach that carbocation either in the same direction of the leaving group. X was on this direction, so nucleophile can attack in the same direction, or it can also attack from the opposite direction. So that is the choice of a nucleophile, whether it would like to attack from the same side or in the opposite side of the X16 leaving group. So what happened is like you are getting a mix of product because some of the nucleophile will attack the carbocation from the same side of the leaving group, and some other nucleophile will attack the carbocation from the opposite side. So see in this case, as you can see, X was on this side, right? Your halogen was this side, and nucleophile is, if nucleophile is added also in the same direction, you will get retention. Same configuration is retained because the leaving group and the incoming group is on the same direction. But if the nucleophile is attacking the carbocation in the opposite direction of the leaving group, then you will have inversion. So in SN2, there was only inversion because it was taking place from the opposite side. So there was only possibility that inversion is happening. But in SN1 mechanism, as it's a two-step reaction, first step you are getting a carbocation, and after the carbocation it's a positive charge, highly positive, not like a partial delta positive. It is a complete positive charge. So nucleophile can easily attack this carbocation, and this attack can happen either in the same direction of the leaving group or in the opposite direction of the leaving group. So both the possibilities are there, or you can say you will get mix of product. So if you start with D isomer, say example, you will get D and L product. That means the configuration of the original molecule, some of them will be retained, that is known as retention, and in some of the molecule the configuration is inverted. So both is possible. So that means you are getting mix of product. In SN1. In SN2, there is no other possibility, only the attack from the rear side. So you will get only inversion. But here you have both the possibility. Attack can happen in the same direction of the leaving group or in the opposite direction of the leaving group. So that means if inversion and retention happens almost in equal percentage, it will lead to the formation of a racemic mixture, right? So that's what happened in SN1 reaction.
So it will be same.
Yeah, it will be racemic mixture.
Why is inversion L and retention B?
Because the original.
Huh?
Why is inversion L? Oh, okay, that's right.
In original compound, X was this side. So here the nucleophile is attached on the same side of the existing group, leaving group, then it is retention.
So now the X was L, if the initial product was, if the initial substrate was L, then the inverted product would be D and the retention would be L.
This is what you have to write it as a mechanism if they ask, because this is how you will show the attack of the molecule. Yeah, because if the question is related to stereo aspects of this reaction, this is what you have to show, because there are inversion and the retention, both possibilities with SN1 mechanism, because in the first step, it is the formation of carbocation. So once the carbocations are formed, then the nucleophile have two choices to attack the carbon, either in the same direction of the leaving group or in the opposite direction of the leaving group. So inversion and retention is possible. See the previous slide, that L stands for leaving group. Okay, that's what they wrote it as L. So you don't have to use that L, you can use it anyway. XN nucleophile, whatever the representation. The ideology is like this is first step is breaking down the bond. Only one molecule is taking part, forming a carbocation, and in the second step, nucleophile is attacking that carbocation to give you the product. So there are two types of products are possible. Products in which stereochemistry or the stereo arrangement is retained, and in the other one it is inverted. Clear? Yes, Abhishek? Okay. That means the overall reaction, the rate of the reaction depends only on one step. That is the slowest step. And in this reaction, step 1 is the slowest step. That is why it's a unimolecular. Only one molecule taking part in the slowest rate determining step. And here the reaction results in the formation of a stable carbocation as intermediate. So tertiary haloalkanes easily undergo SN1 because we know that.
More stable carbocation.
Yeah. Yeah. Say example, if you have primary, this is the primary carbocation, secondary carbocation, and tertiary carbocation. So it is happening in this reaction. The reaction is proceeding through the formation of carbocation because first step bond is breaking and forming a carbocation. So you can see that in primary, secondary and tertiary, which carbocation is more stable? Which is the carbocation which is more stable? Primary, secondary or tertiary? Why? What is the reason, factor affecting the stability of a carbocation? There are so many things we discuss in grade 11. Inductive effect. Yes, Jonathan.
It is about hyperconjugation and
Hyperconjugation and also inductive effect, both, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Inductive effect and hyperconjugation mean more the number of alkyl group, it will be pushing the electrons towards the carbon. So the positive charge of the carbon will get reduced. That is what positive inductive effect. And hyperconjugation means number of hydrogen in the alkyl group. So whatever is tertiary is more stable carbocation. So tertiary would like to undergo SN1. In SN2, we already discussed that it is primary because less more bulkier group, easy for SN2. Here, more bulkier group, easy for SN1 because it is a tertiary is more stable. So that is what you can compare. SN1 reaction basically opted by tertiary compounds and SN2 compound reaction will be primary. Then what about secondary? It can go both based on the situation. And SN1 results in the formation of racemic mixture because you're getting both retention and inversion happening simultaneously. Equal chances are there. So 50-50. So 50-50 composition in racemic mixture.
Racemic mixture is not always right.
Hmm?
Racemic mixture is not always right. It doesn't happen always.
Yeah, it will be equal chances are there. So that is why it's always racemic mixture. After SN1. In SN2, you're getting inversion. In SN1, racemic mixture. So that is,
Is there a possibility that it won't be receiving?
but as the chances are equal, because carbocation and attack can happen in both the sides simultaneously, like, so it's always racemic mixture.
No, so racemic mixture means equal chance of happening or equal.
Racemic mixture mean D and L isomer or the stereoisomers with equal proportion, so that they are cancelling their optical activity.
So that only the, but for that both should occur, right? But here only one of them will occur.
No, here both retention and inversion is happening, and the chances of retention and inversion is equal. So the product form will be D and L in equal proportion. So that is what it's a racemic mixture. So is it clear? Like now you will be able to compare SN and SN2. Why it is named as SN1 and SN2 based on the number of molecules in the slowest rate determining step. Mostly the question will be like this, a compound will be given and you will be asked to write which is the required or the preferred mechanism for this compound given. So what you have to look is whether it's a primary, secondary or tertiary. If it's a primary, it will undergo SN2. If it's a tertiary, it will surely undergo SN1. Then if it's a secondary, there is both the chances based on the bulkier group or not. If it's a bulkier group, it will undergo SN1 mechanism like that. So that's what in the next slide. You can see even if you don't draw the diagram, but at least write this way. Methyl and primary, they undergo SN2 because less bulkier groups are there. So easy for bimolecular reaction. Attack from the rear side is possible. And tertiary, you can see it's a more bulkier groups, more hydrogen. So carbocation is more stable by hypoconjugation or inductive effect. So surely it is SN1. For allelic, benzylic and secondary, they can either undergo SN1 or SN2 based on what is the alkyl group present. So primary surely SN2, tertiary surely SN1. Only the confusion or the things depends on the whether it's a secondary and what is the type of groups present in the compound. That's what the end of SN1 and SN2 mechanism. Is it clear? Silent is always yes, right?
Yes.
I think online people are keeping more quiet.
It's clear, ma'am.
Okay. Anyway, I'm not moving to the next topic now. We'll just go through it one more time so that you'll get a clear picture. It's substitution. So this is what first reaction, chemical reaction which we are learning for haloalkene was nucleophilic substitution. In nucleophilic substitution, based on the mechanism, it is of two different types. We classified it as unimolecular and bimolecular. Then we started with SN2. In SN2, it's a bimolecular reaction because two molecules are taking part in the slowest rate determining step. So this lowest rate determining concept is that when you have a chemical reaction which takes place in more than one step, or it is happening through different transition state, then only one step which is taking part, which is happening very slowly, will be considered to determine the rate of a reaction. Usually, how you will measure the rate? What is the rate of a reaction? Yeah, that means it is how fast a reaction is taking place. So how fast can be measured either by amount of reactant decreasing or the amount of product increasing over the time, right? So either concentration divided by time is rate. It could be decrease in concentration of the reactant or increase in the concentration of the product, right? Yeah. So here, if you have many reactants or more than one step is taking place, you cannot consider every one of the reactant or the product. So that's the reason why we will consider only one step. So if you have many, say example, 4 steps taking place in the overall reaction. So out of the 4, which is the slowest will be considered to determine the rate.
It's common for any reaction.
Any reaction. This is the kinetic rule. This is the rule in kinetics, where if you have a multi-step reaction, you will consider only one step which is happening slowly among all the other steps, and how many molecules are taking part in that slowest step will be determining the rate. So here the first step is the slowest step, and in that first step both the nucleophile and your substrate is taking place, where the nucleophile is attacking from the rear side, opposite side. So both the molecules are taking part. That is why it's a bimolecular reaction. And here it is happening by attack from the rear side. That means it's lead to the inversion of the configuration. That is the important thing to be noted in SN2. But when you look into SN1, I'll just wind up in a minute, okay? Just to ensure that it's clear. First step is breaking down of the bond. The leaving group, L stands for leaving group. So alkyl halide. Halogen is the leaving group. The leaving group will break down, forming the carbocation, lead to the formation of a carbocation. And in that carbocation, the next step is like the nucleophile will come and attack on the carbocation, leading to the product. So it happens in 2 steps. First step, breaking down the bond and carbocation is formed. And the second step is carbocation attacked by a nucleophile, giving you the product. So here also step 1 is the slowest rate determining step, and there is only one reactant or one molecule taking part. That is why it's a unimolecular. Uni means only one molecule taking part in the slowest rate determining step. So that is why there are 2 possibilities. After the formation of a carbocation, nucleophile can attack either in the same direction of the leaving group or from the opposite direction of the leaving group. That means both inversion and retention is possible. So that means it leads to the formation of a racemic mixture. So please go through it before the next period, and if you have still doubt, I can go through it again, but it's understanding it is more important.